Hey, thanks for joining me today for Dog Training with Dad. I'm only going to ask one question. Should I get a Belgian Malinois for a pet? And the answer is yes. Now, if you need one, come to me because I sell Maligators, and I will probably most likely turn you down because you need to ask yourself a lot of questions before you get a Belgian Maligator for a pet. It's one of the last working breeds that hasn't been overbred for show and for looks, that it still relatively maintains its traits for working. And that's going to be high prey drive. That's going to be high bite drive. That's going to be high bark drive. There's going to be a lot of things that come along with Maligators that the average pet owner is going to think is bad behavior when it literally is what they do. It is what they're bred for. I see it on Facebook groups all the time. People say my Maligator puppy's biting me. It keeps biting my ankles. It keeps biting at me when I try to pet it. It keeps biting at me. It keeps doing this. It keeps barking. It wants to bark a lot. These are traits of the Belgian Malinois. These are traits that have been bred into the Belgian Malinois and tried to accentuate these traits for years. So when someone asks me, should they get a Belgian Maligator, a Belgian Malinois, that's why they got the Maligator nickname, is because they bite. So when someone asks me, should I get one as a pet? I tell them absolutely. If you have the right environment for this kind of working dog. You see, the German Shepherd has long since kind of gone downhill because they're breeding for looks, they're breeding for dimensions, they're breeding for show. The Black Lab, the English Black Lab, has gone downhill into what we call the American Lab, which is the show lab, that has very little drive to go hunt, very little drive to do some things. But when it comes to the Belgian Maligator as a household pet, they make great loyal household dogs if you can put them in the right environment. You see, because this dog wasn't bred to look good. This dog wasn't bred, even though they look so sharp, this dog wasn't bred for looks. It was bred to work. So unless you can put a job in front of this dog, you are going to run into issues as a Malinois for a pet if you can't give it a job. And when I mean a job, I kind of mean you have to spend most days, most of the day with your dog. Because this is what this dog was bred to do. It was bred to do a job with a handler most days, most of the day. And so when you bring a working line animal into your house and you say, well, I want you to be a pet and chill out like my bull pug, the working line animal is going to begin to show you some things that if you do not address, you're going to call them problems. You're going to call them hindrances. You're going to call them annoyances, when literally this dog is doing what it was bred to do. And so you have to ask yourself a lot of questions before you bring home a Belgian Malinois as a household pet. One thing I always ask people who come to me for Malinois is, do you have small children in the house? It's not that these dogs cannot be raised around small children. It's that you need to teach your small children how to interact with this dog. Not the dog how to interact with your children how to interact with the dog. Maybe you've got a little older children, 6, 7, 8 years old, that have been raised around dogs. My little daughter can handle the Maligator. But you know what? The Maligator has bitten my daughter on more occasions than I care to even think about. Now, does it break the skin and put my daughter in the hospital? Absolutely not. but it uses its mouth to communicate. You heard them barking. They bark, they bite, they chew. This is what they do. And a lot of times people get these dogs at a very young age. 6 weeks, illegal. 8 weeks, legal, but not the best time. You see, especially when it comes to the Malinois, the longer they can stay with mama and the litter, the better off dog you're going to have. The reason is because they communicate so much with their mouth, and because they are so mouthy that when they stay around the litter, they learn how to properly use their mouth to communicate. Because if they bite too hard, mama bites back. If they bite too hard, little brother bites back. So the longer a Malinois puppy can stay with the litter and mom, sometimes the better acting they are, in my opinion. This is really with all dogs, but the Malinois, these traits are accentuated because this is what they do. And so when a dog is nippy and bitey, a lot of times it's because it hasn't had long enough with its mother to teach it how to use its mouth. This is why we use mentor dogs. This is why rough and tumble play is very good for dogs. Because if they can have some rough and tumble play, sometimes that biting goes away from the humans and is just used amongst the dogs. And they use it in a proper, polite way. The Belgian Malinois is a faithful, loyal breed. They are strong. They are determined. They are what we like to call high endurance and fast recharge, which means this dog can do a lot of work at once, take a short break, and it's ready to go at it again. These dogs are what we call high deterrent dogs and can be high liability if they are not trained. These dogs are naturally good with people. They naturally are weary of new people. That isn't a good trait. The insecurity around new people isn't a good trait unless it's trained right. These dogs are as much energy as any animal that you could have in your house. So when I say there's not another breed out there that is going to be put to the max of this. That doesn't mean there aren't other working line dogs out there that have just as much energy as Malinois. You can find a working line blue heeler that can keep up with a Malinois. You can find a working line border collie that can keep up with a Malinois. So don't think that there aren't other working line dogs that come with the same sort of issues. But the sole purpose for this dog in a lot of issues is for protection and for biting and for using that mouth. And so when you bring them into the house, you may get bit. There's an old saying with good Malinois owners that if you ain't getting bit, you got poor genetics, especially by the puppies, because the puppies like to bite. So I'm not telling you not to get a Malinois. As a matter of fact, I think they make excellent household pets for people who can spend most of their time with their dog most days. So, does this dog need you to spend every day with it? No, but it needs you to spend most days with it. Does this dog need you to spend every minute of every day with it? Nope, but it needs you to spend most minutes, most days with it. This dog was bred to work hand in hand with a handler. This dog was bred to work hand in hand to do jobs. This dog was bred to work with you, to be with you. So no matter if it's a working dog or a pet, it wants to be with you. Thanks for watching Dog Training with Dad. If you have questions about how you can become the home of a super puppy like Tango here, message me. If you got more questions about the breed, Google. There's plenty of information out about this breed. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and all those things you're supposed to do right here on Dog Training with Dad.